Apple recently crossed $1 trillion in valuation. It might seem that this country has everything figured out. Well, they have almost everything except the Indian smartphone market. According to latest reports, Apple has a meager 1% of the Indian smartphone market. Here's why we think Apple has not been doing that great in India. Apple has forever been a player in the premium smartphone market and has often been regarded as the creme de la creme of smartphones. The only way you could get an iPhone for cheap is by waiting for it to be succeeded by a couple or maybe 3 generations of iPhones. Even then, an iPhone would cost you around the same price as latest flagships from OnePlus, Honor or Vivo. And keeping in mind that it's the Indian smartphone market we're talking about, it's precisely where the problem lies: the price. Among the top features that define the Indian market is the fact that it's a highly price competitive market. This is exactly why OEMs from China like Xiaomi and OnePlus have flourished in the past 4 years in India. Higher the bang for buck ratio and lower the price, the more sales your device gets. India is the world's largest smartphone market, and Apple has just about 1% market share about that. And looking at the way Apple plans on functioning in the future, that statistic isn't going away anytime soon. The premium segment of India is above 30,000 rupees. It is the budget segment that sees the most sales, and most companies have a wide enough product portfolio. Except Apple. Even the aging iPhone 6s from 2015 costs 35,000 rupees. There is no reason to get an older iPhone when you have devices from OnePlus and Honor that push the boundaries of their respective segments. Now, while Samsung's S9 costs 60,000 rupees, Apple's iPhone X costs a whopping 89,000 rupees. And although you may argue that the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus sell for less, they find it really hard to compete with the S9, the Google Pixel 2 and even the Note 8. Although Apple did have an edge in the past and got users to pay more for its simplistic and smooth iOS, Android has also undergone major changes to provide an experience that is similar if not better. Add the fact that you need a credit card to access the App Store, where less than 1% Indians have a credit card, there's another major mismatch. The increase in import duties has also had a significant impact on Apple's pricing. It was doubled from 10% to 20% in the last year itself. Considering the rising importance of India in the smartphone scene, most companies have already either invested in India or is in the process of setting up a local assembly or manufacturing plant. Samsung, Xiaomi, Oppo, Vivo, OnePlus, all of them are already in this game. Apple is not completely absent in terms of having an assembly or manufacturing facility. With the help of Winston in India, Apple is currently assembling the iPhone SE and manufacturing small batches of the iPhone 6s. All other Apple models are imported, so the latest phones continue to remain expensive. Apart from the problems in Indian market, Apple has also recently lost its coveted title of the second largest smartphone seller globally. This is the first time in 7 years that an OEM other than Samsung and Apple has held one of the top 2 spots. Although you can argue Apple has much higher revenues, it's not long before the numbers in India start to slip further. Another big factor for the success of Oppo, Vivo and Xiaomi is their great network of offline retailers, letting users experience the phone before buying. The retailers are also allowed a bigger cut when they sell these phones. Apple anyway has very few authorized stores in India, and even those don't give a big cut to the retailers. Apple being Apple will not introduce cheaper phones and will continue to pocket higher revenues by leveraging its brand value. Indians want cheap phones with big batteries and a headphone jack. Apple gives none of that. One major solution to their existing crisis would be to start manufacturing their top models in India. And if nothing is done about that, other OEMs won't take long to take a bite out of that apple.